Swap, c'est un atelier thématique dans l'objectif de mobiliser l'intelligence collective de chercheurs en SHS et en sciences et technologies quantiques.
We don't know exactly when some of the big quantum technologies will be available to general public or to the industry or to the states, but we know it's coming, and we also know that they're going to pose some threat to society. One of the biggest one that people are talking about more and more is about encryption. We don't know when, but we need to be ready. And so we organized the day on 3 key themes.
Première thématique, la souveraineté, l'indépendance stratégique autour des technologies quantiques.
So in my group, we're discussing questions around the meaning of technological sovereignty and strategic independence, and part of the discussion is including what does that mean for an individual country or within a region like the European Union, and internationally, what does it mean to have strategic independence? What does it mean to have technological sovereignty? And we're examining issues such as how we're securing our supply chains, what kind of resources are needed to build quantum technologies, and what that looks like at a national level and at an international level. We're examining some of the questions related to the tension between US and China and some of the impacts of that on other countries, and how do we navigate this complex geopolitical landscape when we're talking about simultaneously having national capabilities and securing and having that strategic autonomy in terms of quantum technologies, while at the same time collaborating with our partners, developing secure supply chains to be able to continue to use and operate these technologies in the long term.
Just for what I said.
A second stream about cybersecurity, all the standard of encryption, or you develop those standards, empower national industries.
En tant que juriste, ce qui m'intéresse fondamentalement dans cet atelier, c'est de comprendre s'il y a des enjeux de régulation en matière de quantique. L'Europe a beaucoup régulé en matière de cybersécurité. Nous avons adopté NIS2 que nous sommes en train de transposer, qui est une directive européenne en cybersécurité. Nous avons adopté le Cyber Resilience Act, aussi sur le plan européen. Donc nous avons un paquet législatif extrêmement important que nous sommes en train de transposer en France. Et la question qui se pose, c'est de savoir dans quelle mesure on a réellement bien adressé cette menace quantique dans ces nouvelles régulations. Et le dialogue entre, je dirais, juristes, politistes, et puis le monde des scientifiques est absolument nécessaire. Et ce genre d'atelier, il est formidable de ce point de vue-là.
And the third one about responsible innovation and how do you foster a responsible quantum ecosystem.
I consider myself someone who has always done fundamental physics, trying to understand things to understand the nature of how quantum physics works and not worry too much about the applications. And I realize I have a huge lack of knowledge about how technology interacts with the real world of society and laws and politics. So I come here in hope of understanding how technologies evolve in that context and to see how quantum technologies, once they start to become really useful, how we can make sure that they are used for things that are good for society and limit the impacts, the bad impacts on society. We had a lot of discussions in the session with legal experts about how one sets in place legal structures to encourage responsible innovation and to stop people just, let's say, running after the money and not worrying about what their technology will do at the level of society.
Il y a plusieurs idées qui ont émergé sur les recommandations possibles. Je crois que
les technologies quantiques aujourd'hui présentent aussi bien des risques que des opportunités, et l'objectif de ce workshop est d'arriver à les cartographier afin de dessiner des recommandations aux décideurs publics. Nous leur adresserons les recommandations et les quelques idées qui ont pu émerger de ces différents ateliers.
Different perspectives and expertise coming together and very quickly we're like talking about this, trying to find solution, policy ideas, and with concrete recommendations for governments. And really like this, because you never know when you try to organize this kind of workshop, can you actually come up with actionable policy recommendations? And I think we did for like the second stream, so that was like a good moment.